I'm not. Definitely a lot more power. Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flyers RC out here at the Avon Park Aero Modelers Club. Now, this is, as you know, the X-Fly SU-57. However, this is actually a new plane. This is the X-Fly SU-57 version 2. It was just recently released. And what they've done is they have 30 amp ESCs in it instead of 20 amp dual ESCs, and two dual 30s now. They also have it's the new X-Fly Pro 40s in there, which are supposed to be a little more powerful, a little more efficient. And the other difference is they've improved their back here. You used to have to glue this back half on. Now they've got a magnet in there, and it fits in there really well. They've also, looks like they've improved how their nose cone sits on there. The only thing that's still lacking is X-Fly with these little 40, their little jets. They just can't seem to get these canopies to fit completely flush. I mean, it's on there, but there's an obvious, if they were just to embed two magnets in the middle, then that wouldn't be an issue. But this is the maiden flight. I've only taxied around the driveway. I gave her a fresh coat of polyacrylic from Midwax, which is water-based, and we're gonna take her up. Now the assembly is very, very simple. 2 bolts hold on the wings. 1 bolt, threaded bolt, holds on the horizontal stabilizers, and then you hook up your 2 control links, and the wings are already hooked up and the rudders are fixed. There's no yaw involved. You do have a steerable nose wheel. I have a 6-channel Spectrum receiver in there with a nose wheel gyro going. We're going to take it up, have some fun. I'm going to fly in my high rates, 3-minute timer. This is the maiden flight. When I get these planes, rarely do I ever not show the actual maiden. I want you to get the full experience, just like I am getting. So this is supposed to be a lot faster, and because of that, I've got the timer set down to 3 minutes, only because you know, I don't know how hard these batteries are going to suck I got a 2200 I think it's called Surplus 4S in there with a 50C, right, left, up, down, no yaw. So let me get on this side of you, honey. Okay, all right. Camera Precious on the camera? I'm not. Definitely a lot more power. No yaw though. No yaw. There's no yaw here. We're in a state of non-yaw. Yeah, sorry about that. This is the maiden flight. I've never flown this plane before, and she's flying great, even with a cross breeze. Got the trim the way she needs no trim at all. Take it up again. Kill the motor. It's like a leaf. All right, let's see if we can't get a landing out of this thing.
2 minutes.
Now, I would like to see them put a strap in there for the battery. It's just held in by Velcro. Plenty of power. Plenty of power. Oh yeah. I can definitely tell a difference between the old 40s and these new 40 Pros. It's got some serious punch for such a small, little, light plane. Remember, you don't have any yaw. No yaw. No rudder for correction. So, And she's light. And she felt like she was hard for me to keep her from not being tail heavy. I've got the battery as far forward as I can get it. Oh, and something else it has. And I don't remember if the original had a reverse thrust or not. Still got a minute. Very impressed.
1 minute.
Very impressed for such and it's a cross breeze at that today. Wind is out of the south today, and this is an east-west runway. And it's handling, even without yaw, it's handling it just fine. Now I am using smaller battery than what it calls for. It calls for a 2600 4S. But I'm feeling that comfortable with this thing on a Maiden. All right. You know what?
No gyro.
Turn the gyro off real quick.
30 seconds.
Make one ground without the gyro. And she's fine. Even in the wind,
20 seconds.
I still need to put a heavier battery in there because she just feels like she's a little tail heavy. But like I say, I've got the battery as far forward as I can get it. Landing with no gyro. All right. For a maiden flight, I'm very impressed with this little plane. Tough little plane. Looks good too.
Braking. Timer expired. Cruise mode.
All right. 1 second over on a 3-minute timer. Real quick, I want to check the battery, then we'll go over all the rates and everything. Make sure your
motors are shut down.
Motor, even though it's an EDF, get in a habit of turning your motors off. You just get in that habit. I mean, last thing you want to do is go to the emergency room because you lopped off one of your fingers with a prop plane because you're on your toy. How are you going to explain that one to mama? All right. Got the battery. I'll put it back in. Battery's warm. This is an older battery. That's why I wanted to use it for testing. 22% left, so 3 minutes on a 2200 is ample. We got 37, 37, 37, 37 per cell, and that is a Supulse 2200 with a 50C. It's I don't even think they even sell these batteries anymore. The point is, it's a 2200 4S, and I've got it as far forward as I can possibly get it, and she still feels tail heavy to me, but. All right, now let me show you the placement real quick. I've got that battery as far forward as I can possibly get it. It can't go any further than that. It's got the tiller arm styled steering, and that's where I've got the AR631 Spectrum receiver with the antenna going wrapped around. Let's check our CG. It's like I just plugged the battery back in. It's wanting to initialize. All right. Let it sit down for just a second. We'll let it initialize. All right, it's initialized. All right, CG is 50 millimeters back from the leading edge root where the fuse touches the wing right here. You'll feel for that little bolt. Put your finger, half a finger pad behind that bolt, and that's where I got them 50 mark there. And to me, she still feels like she's favoring tail heavy, but she did okay. She did okay. Good looking little plane. Let's go over our rates real quick. I flew her in high rates the entire time.
AS3X mode.
Okay. You know what? I may not be able to capture my rates now because I unplugged and plugged it back in. Let me see. Yeah, no, I'll have to fly it again in order to capture my gains. So we're going to fly it again here in just a second, but let me just share you my flying rates real quick. And I'm going to put a 2600 in it next. Ailerons are 100% with 50% expo. An elevator is 100% with 50% expo also. We're going to swap out batteries and we're going to combine that flight with this one. Then I'll share all my gains and everything with you in just a moment when I do the second flight. All right, we'll be right back. Just stay right there. Don't go nowhere. Well, hey folks, Fat Guy Flies RC out here at the Avon Park Aero Modelers Field. We're going to take up the all-new X-Fly SU-57 Felon version 2, and this time, this is the second flight. We're going to do a speed run on her. Got a GNS performance analyzer inside there. We're going to see just how fast we can get this little guy going. All right, don't mean to put my butt in your face. Make sure we're reading.
Motors are hot and clean.
And we are. Okay. Got a 2600 HRB, going to fly in my high rates, and this time I'm actually going to be able to capture my AS3X gains. Last time I switched to gyro, I turned the gyro off and flew her, just to show you could fly her without the gyro, and then I took the battery out without capturing my gains. So now we're going to leave the AS3X on this time.
Timer reset.
3.5 minutes, 2600. She's not quite as tail heavy as she was before, because now I've got the recommended battery in there of a 2600 4S. And here we go. Straight and level test first, and then a dive test. Definitely got a heavier plane, or heavier battery in there. All right, there's straight and level.
Time remaining 3 minutes.
We get her turned around, we get her landed. Remember, you don't have yaw. Whoa. Don't turn too sharp. All right. That's our straight and level. Let's see what we got. End. Read. All right. 83 mile an hour. 100 up to 184 feet. 83 mile an hour. Let's start over. All right. So we're going to start. Okay. We are reading. This time we'll just take her up in a hard dive with the wind, just for fun. I mean, that's not performance, but we're just going to see how fast we can make this little guy go. Gotta remember, it's a twin 40 EDF with a 2600 4S in there, high rates. It's not going to be a rocket ship, but pretty darn fast for such a small plane. Little launch assist from the runway. All right. All right, that should have given me my speed run, or my dive. See how fast I can get her in a dive. Remember, you don't have yaw. Hold on. Not happy with it. I'm going to go around.
Time remaining 2 minutes.
If you're not happy, go around. That's a little bit better this time. Whoa. All right, now that's 2 landings for the price of 1. And just so you know, this is not a sponsored plane. Okay. End. Read. All right, 82 mile an hour. So, I don't know. I think 80 to 85 is about all you're going to get out of it. And that's fine. I mean, for such a small little plane, maybe if I put a 2200 in a hard dive, maybe I might get 100 mile, but I'm not going to push it. Solid flying little plane. I don't think we tested inverted last time. We'll go up and test stall. We'll test inverted this time. All right. No elevator needed to maintain inverted. No elevator pressure at all. All right, let's test our stall. All right, you're flying along, lose power. And she just starts slumping down. All right, let's do it now with holding up elevator.
1 minute.
Put her into the wind, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator, up elevator. All right, she kind of just slumps off to the right a little bit, so not too bad. Not too bad at all.
Braking. Cruise mode.
Does have. All right, we still have 35 seconds. Let's go ahead and get one more quick up and down.
30 seconds.
Little Tokyo slide there.
20 seconds. 10. Braking. Timer cruise mode.
Didn't quite keep her on the runway, but that's good enough. I say the plane doesn't weigh nothing. All right, let's get her turned around here and go over our rates.
Braking. Cruise mode.
All right, 21 seconds over on a 3.5 minute timer. My flying rates, I just flew in. Ailerons are 100% with 50% expo. Elevator, 100% with 50% expo also. All right.
Motors are shut down.
Forward
to pick up.
Forward program, if she'll let me talk. Okay. AS3X gains, I'm going to capture them now. All right. 10, 12, and 14 on roll, pitch, and yaw. 10, 12, and 14. I didn't notice her oscillating any. She seemed to be a little locked in, so I'm happy with those AS3X gains. Priorities are all at 140 on roll, pitch, and yaw, which I'll probably change to 100. I don't do anything with heading. Stop lock is all at 35 on roll, pitch, and yaw, which I'll probably change that to 50. And gains are one-time gains. Now the nose wheel gyro, you have to cut your nose wheel gyro back, especially on smaller planes like this because they're so pitchy, so sensitive. So you don't have, usually the bigger jets, I have a 50% window and a 50% gain for my nose wheel. And this one only 25%, and you can see, and that gain, that AS gyro is not tied, is not adjustable, that's fixed. I like my flying gains to be adjustable on a knob, but my nose wheel gyro, I want that fixed at a 25% rate gain, 50% window. So, and you can experiment with yours, but that's how I like mine, because these little planes, they just turn almost within their own length. So, all right, let's go over CG and how much is left in the tank. These gnats are about to drive me insane. All right, CG on the plane is 50 millimeters back from the leading edge root. And that's where the wing touches the fuse, which is right there. Feel for that bolt and then put your finger about half a pad back from there, and that's where she CGs. And now she's starting to feel pretty level, and that's with a 2600 taking up the entire battery bay. I can't go any further back, I can't go any further forward. I mean, that's it. So 2600 is as big as you're going to get. Okay, let's check the battery. Take that GNS performance analyzer out there, which is what I just used. This only weighs a few grams, so I'm not letting it, I really don't think it affects the CG all that much. It doesn't weigh next to nothing. So, we get my battery checker out here. Out of my pocket. All right, 22% left with 37, 37, 37, 37 per cell. All right, just to prove my point, let me put the GNS performance back in there. Okay, I already checked it's perfectly level with it out. I mean, with it in there. Let's check it with it out, just so I can answer any questions you may have about that. It's not in there now. Put my fingers back on the CG marks, and still feels perfectly level. All right, well, there you go. That is the all-new X-Fly SU-57 Felon version 2 twin 40. It's got the new 30 amp ESCs instead of 20 amp ESC. They now have a magnet in the rear rear cone, and I think the nose cone here is designed a little bit better. It seems to stay on a little bit better. Maybe, look at that. I just said it stays on. The magnet just came off. Well, that doesn't bode real well. I just said the design better and it falls off. But, okay, well, that's what glue's for. But it's got a plastic tip, so really you could take that off, you could glue that on. Isn't that something? I just says better design, it falls right off in front of me. But, hey, that shows you how unscripted we are here on Fat Guy Flies RC. But it's just a nice little plane. It's a good little flyer. Remember, you don't have yaw for yaw correction, so line your landing up accordingly. And yeah, there you go. Camera Precious, thank you for filming. Jesus is Lord. And Amazon is where I got this. There'll be a link to where I purchased it, and you can get it at Amazon. They also sell those Pro 40 motors separately, but they don't sell 30 amp ESCs that I could see. So, that are X-Fly brand. All right, God bless y'all. We'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.